What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we are going to be going over your Japanese top decks. We have had an open cup 3 times in the past couple of weekends, so we're going to be diving in and explaining and looking at a few of the top decks from the Ultimate Cups. I want to show off some of the highlighted ones. I know I could break down the whole thing, but I figure at least looking at 3 decks would be fine. So let's dive into the video and talk about it. I know it's been a hot second since we've actually even had Armor Rush on the channel, so let's talk about it. So yeah, Armor Rush and Bt-10 really only seems like it added in Maxtemon as its new kind of, boss Digimon to really use. This card is just basically to counteract the Cross Hearts, the Blue Flares, and Yellow Hybrid just because it punishes Tamer play and the wider boards. So this card's going to be around for a good while, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this going into our format as well in Bt-9. It wouldn't be a surprise because Maxtemon is such a powerful card, and people are still on the hybrid train. And I wouldn't. This card is definitely going to be a chase card and hunted widely. First off, they are playing Upamon for the draw value. I'm going to be quite honest with you. The eggs weren't in the picture. So I'm going to go on the assumption it's Upamon and Zyomon, because most lists are in that range and usually are hosting these as the eggs. So I think that's where we're going with it. Zyomon is just basically for when you're at a level 4. Since you're majority of the time at level 4, you're going to gain that extra power. It could probably be 4-1 here in reverse, but I think that this is kind of what the eggs are looking like. Jamming Vmon, just because if, let's say, they Armor Purge after a Fire Rocket, the card can instantly still check more security. So just keep that in mind. Vmon's in here for the revealing the top 4 to grab your 2 color cards. And that's not limited to just Digimon. It is all cards. So just keep that in mind going forwards. Vmon basically is in here for that draw, so that you constantly have a way of drawing, especially with Armor Purge. It's just really nasty to just consistently draw. Vmon's just for that free search. Majority of this is free types, so you'll definitely have a decent hit ratio. Lydramon's just for that suspending level 4, but it's an Armor Purge. Flamedramon just gains extra power, but it's an Armor Purge as well. And Kylomon's in here to combo in with the Shikuyamon, so that you can climb into Magnamon X-antibody very easily. Just being able to play, but it also has that if you have a blue Digimon in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. Really useful, very powerful. Magnamon is blocker, Armor Purge, unsuspend the Digimon. It gets plus 2000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn for each card with Armor Purge in its traits from your trash. He gets beefy. What can get really nasty is he gets big beefy, and then you have X-antibody being able to redirect. If they purge him, you'll have a blocker still, and the power still sustains to both. So he just gets ridiculously quickly. Chimeramon's just in here for Jogressing, and then since you can get to 4 colors, that's really nasty. He gets beefy on his own, and then you can just control a board with minus 4000 DP. Shikuyamon, controller, but also gains you some much needed security back. So just keep that going with yourself. And plus, also your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP. So this will guarantee that you can minus 6000 DP stuff, which can be quite useful in my opinion. So just keep that in the back of your head. Magnamon X-antibody, just really powerful Digimon. Being able to Digivolve on top of Magnamon for 4, really good. But also because when your opponent's Digimon attacks, if this Digimon has X-antibody or an armor form in its traits, this Digimon its Digi-Evolution cards, you may change the attack to this card. So basically, he's at a level 6, as long as they can't climb over him, a X-antibody Omnimon. So you can just take it like that, because he's not once per turn. He's just, whenever it happens, instantly redirected to him. So if he's just big and beefy, your opponent's not getting around him. But then all turns when this Digimon would be deleted, you may place the top card of this Digimon at the top of your security stack face down to prevent the deletion. So basically it has Armor Purge without the word Armor Purge, and it switches right into security stack, making it really tough to get around him, especially because if you can't swing over the 11k afterwards, you're kind of screwed. Maxtemon we already talked about because of the format. Blue Memory Boost, just to search out pieces. Hammer Spark to extend plays. We have Fire Rocket to gain extra security. Then you also have the Awakening of Golden Digizoid. This card is just really powerful because it just makes it so any of your Digimon can Digivolve into Magnamon, X-antibody basically. One of your Digimon with armor form in his traits may Digivolve into a Digimon with Magnamon in his name, so basically making sure your X-antibody can go on any of your armors. But this also makes it so that the Digimon Digivolved with this effect cannot have its DP reduced by your opponent's card effects until the end of your opponent's next turn, and then security return one Magnamon in its name from your trash to your hand. Add this card to your hand, so it guarantees that you can go into Magnamon X-antibody even if there's one in trash. So just really powerful. And then we know Davis is the memory setter and just a +2 in most situations. I mean, not in this situation, it's a +1. And then Davis and Ken, you'll always gain an extra memory by the blue sources, but if you have Lydramon out, you can definitely get some extra memory that way. So, just very powerful all-around shenanigans here. Next, let's talk about security control. Seeing some resurgence, actually. Wasn't expecting to see this come forwards, but it's really cool to see this deck in action right now. So what is making this deck actually be crazy at the moment? So first off, we can talk about it. We have Upamons for draws, Salamons for recoveries. We already know this is going to happen. Lowimon just for, you know, Digivolving on top of our purple Tamers. Magnamon to extend our recovery options. And it just play it, recover. It's just really good. Avenge Kidmon, be able to shuffle back all the options, and he can come in for free, and that gets really much of a problem. Venusmon is a really good tech in this format. I mean, what could possibly happen if you want to play this deck precisely, especially in Bt-10 before Xros, you can swap this out for Sakuyamon, so that it minuses 3 security checks. So you play Magnamon, go into Sakuyamon. They can't promote, they're already falling behind, because they're not going to be OTKing you anytime soon until they get rid of that Digimon. So that's just how that's going to go, and you just can keep that up. And then you have Dexamon in here for just controlling if they're playing any strategy with Tamers or anything like that. Wide board status, Dexamon comes in and just says, I'm going to just control this game from now on. So with the combination of these two, it just gets really hard to handle because that minusing security, especially when Digivolving, is a blanket effect. Now they can't do anything, and especially because if they have any sort of security plus or minus on their abilities, instantly when Digivolving and when attacking effects do not activate, so it's kind of a problem for them. Calling from Darkness to cycle back, Lowimon and Dexmon, just really all that's there for. Zwart Leginger to take care of level 5 problems, Flame Hell Scythe, you know, minus 6,000 DP, and then you can just instantly play Magna Angemon again, recovery +1. That gets really annoying pretty quickly, and that's just how that's going to go. Holy Wave, if they check this thing, it's instantly going to recover them 1. Loete Altasto. This card is very interesting. You won't have Pulsemon at all, but this is, if you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 12,000 DP for the turn. If you have 3 of your security cards, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down on the top of the security stack. So in any situation, this card is really good. The reason for that is if you're at a low number and they hit it, instantly now their Digimon is just on the top. If not, you're minusing 12,000 DP. Depending on what's happening and what the board state is, this can help out kill most threats and get rid of problem children very easily. Tactical Retreat, place one of your Digimon at the top of your security stack face down, trash all Digi-Evolution of that Digimon. So basically, you can reset up, get things re-rolling kind of status. I might suggest playing maybe one Junomon in this list, just so you can cycle back Venusmon or Avenge Kidmon, but that's just me. Reinforced Memory Boost, Delay, you know, the fun stuff. Chaos Degradation, place one of your opponent's Digimon at the top or bottom of the security face down. If you did, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. And then this one just instantly recovers by placing it at the top. Matt, just to cycle back your purple cards. Maybe you get your Dexmon and your Lowimon back. Kari is just such a pain in the rear, especially the more you get her out, the more likely one swing could instantly pass their turn. and that's a problem for a lot of decks because Kari is just such a block. It's not even funny. And then you have Digimon Emperor. So since you got to force your opponent into a certain place, Mindscapes, when one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon is moved from breeding area to battle, gain 2 memory. And then, but also has it if you delete their level 5 or lower Digimon, suspend this tamer, draw a card. So basically, draw advantage and then shutting down your opponent's progression through raising. They have to Digivolve up more to be able to, is huge, especially when you can shut them down very easily. Kari's in here just so whenever you recover, we do this a lot, we'll gain a memory, and she's a memory setter too. So that's just basically security in a nutshell. Just keep an eye out on this list. You probably will see this around Bt-9 and 10. So just something to think about. Next, let's talk about it. This is Mastemon with Minervamon. So this is a very interesting list in my opinion because it starts hitting Exocross issues and stuff like that. Neodevimon's just so powerful against Exocross decks or even hybrid decks in general. You can get him out and sit him out. They're not going to do much. They can't progress further because playing one timer means you're going to gain a bunch. They don't want to give you a bunch of memory by passing. So I play this 4 cost instantly. Now it's costing me way too much. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind, that making their stuff way more expensive is too much for them. Especially if you can get 2 Neodevimons out, that 6 memory gain is really hard for them to get around. Demimera for draw. Tsunomon, if you discard, draw a card. Tapirmon, draw a card on deletion. Gazemon, blocking out memory gains. Psychmon to shut down Dexmon or anybody else that wants to play reduced costs. Especially the Exocross decks, you want to shut those down. Devimon, just for that 1 cost evolve. Black Gato, rush, just so that you can combo in and get for game. Gatomon, basically a searcher that gets you, a purple and yellow Digimon card. And then when you would Digivolve into this to Archangel or Fallen Angel in straight, reduce the memory cost by 2. Really important, very powerful skill anyway. And then it can Jogress at the end phase. Lady Deva, because drawing cards and being a graceful charity on legs is nasty. Neo Devi, we already talked about this. Lucemon Chaos Mode, just because you can play it for free with Maste and pop a Tamer or a level 6. This could really help, especially if they're playing hide it all their stuff. Like with Exocross underneath their Tamers, you can pop the Tamer before it gets useful. So that's just something to keep in mind. Makrakramon Viruses Mode. So this card is very interesting. It's a newer one that we get in Bt-9, but you may trash 1 card from in your hand. If a purple Digimon card is trashed this way, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. If a yellow card is trashed this way, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP. So if you discard a purple and yellow card, instantly get both effects. On deletion, if this Digimon has 2 or more colors, gain 2 memory. So this can, if they pop it, get you back into the game. Magnamon is just recovery. We already know this, and it gives an extra power boost. But what's really nice is about the Minervamon here. On opponent's turn, when an opponent plays a Digimon, you may play a purple level 4 or lower Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. On plays do not activate though, but that means basically a trade-off. Whenever they play a Digimon, you're instantly going wider than them, and you're keeping up pace. So that means, especially with blockers and stuff like that, that died. Well, I'm going to get to play it again. So if you play something. So just keep that in mind. And then when your opponent has 2 or less Digimon in play, you may play 1 purple level 5 or lower Digimon, or 1 Minervamon from your trash without paying its memory cost. So if Minervamon dies, you can get a Lucemon Chaos Mode from trash. Creepymon for milling out decks, it just helps out. And it gets the free Lucemon Chaos Mode in himself. Just something, just depending on board state. Especially since we're going wider now, you can start milling heavier on them and just keep losing their resources. Mastemon, Jogress Queen, she just basically just goes all out. There's not much else you can do against this card. Dexmon, DDG Evolution 1. Dexmon's just good for the wide boards. Zort Defeat, if this comes out of security, nasty, but you can also kill Tamers with it. Calling from Darkness, returning 2 cards. Return up to 2 purple Digimon cards from trash from hand. Paladina Flame. So delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with a level less than or equal to the deleted Digimon. So basically, you pop Magnamon, you can get Lucemon Chaos Mode out of the deal. So you basically get 2 kills, so 6 or lower, and then you get another 6, or, you know, this gets ridiculous pretty quickly. So that's just what you're doing here. Flame Health Size, just being Flame Health Size. Chaos Degradation being Chaos Degradation. Kari, if you recover, we have ways of recovering with Maste and Magnamon. And then TK Izzy. So if you have a level 5 or higher Digimon, gain 1 memory. If your opponent has a level 5 or higher Digimon, gain 1 memory. When you're one of your yellow or green Digimon Digivolves, you may spend this tamer to have one of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1000 DP until the end of next turn. So basically, we're all in all just going all in and controlling the board state. Putty, way to go getting 7th in an Ultimate Cup with this list. Very proud of you. You did really well. You know, the same thing with the 2nd place winner here. And then your 4th place winner, 3rd place Calvin. You did a really good job, guys. Keep it up. Hard work, especially in Ultimate Cups. They are 30-man tournaments, but this is their most competitive of them all. So, guys, keep that in the back of your mind. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!